Good morning. Welcome to Viewpoint. This morning, the program of personalities. And that's
Politicians.
It. No, we'll skip the politics this morning. Perspectives.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, we leave them out. We'll bring them back.
I'm just about tired of them.
Well, you and a lot of
all
other
their
people.
Failings and foibles.
You and a lot of other folks right now. Anyway.
But I just want to say one thing about that.
Well, now, wait just a minute. Let's talk about that. Find out. What do you want to say?
Can I just, and then I'll be quiet until 9 o'clock.
All right.
No, I just want to say that Senior Cruz, who has just declared his candidacy, used the word honesty. And I jumped up and down and applauded right there in my house. I had two dogs going absolutely crazy because they couldn't figure out what was going on.
They had a new word in his lexicon.
That's the word I want to hear.
In the political lexicon, that's not much of a, you don't hear that very often.
No, people don't use that word.
Politics got back into it already this morning. We're just going to leave that out.
Yeah.
Well, oh well.
Well, I just had to say that.
Well,
I was so happy to hear that word. I didn't know that they were acquainted with it.
Miss Schaefer, she's 50% owner of the show, so we got her whatever she wants to say is fine with me.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
She's doing a great job.
You
All
don't
right,
know that.
Don, we always try to start Viewpoint with a kudo, maybe one or two. Today, I think it'd be most appropriate if we brought attention to the fact that those folks who were involved in and the 180 participants, as the information shows, 2015 Polar Plunge results are they raised over $30,000.
Yes, they did.
$30,766.91 to be exact. That to me is a rather intriguing and a formidable figure. That represents a whole lot of work, and I might add, a little personal sacrifice for those who jump in that cold water.
Yes. The water was 47 degrees this year, so it was a little warmer than the past.
That still represents a whole lot of goosebumps.
It represents
it sure
a whole
does.
lot.
But kudos to those folks who work so hard to put that on, and thanks to the participants. It doesn't work if not anybody's willing to jump in that cold water. So that's our kudo for today.
But it goes such a noble cause, really.
Well,
that's so nice.
Yeah.
Special Olympics is just a very important thing.
And you know, the age-old story, Don, nothing happens till somebody makes it happen. And there are two or three here got involved in this, and it's just kind of grown exponentially. It seems to get better all the time, and God love them. That's a great job, folks. Tip our hats to you. Judith Kay.
Yes.
Why don't you introduce our guest this morning, who's not only new to you and I, but to our community?
I'll just do that. Dawn Schaefer is new to the big city here, and she has her master's degree in Parks and Recreation directorship, and she has brought that to us, and we're darn glad to have you here. And I think we probably start rather than with the first event, which is the health fair, which is
this
right
Saturday.
here. But I'd like to just go ahead a little bit towards summertime, which will come.
It will. It's coming.
It sure as God made little green apples.
So. Wow.
And what we're going to be looking forward to is the pool, and I'd like to know what's happened. You kind of got cut off at the knees, didn't you?
Well, they tried. They tried. And knowing that this had happened, I met with the Lincoln Park District Board, presented all the information, and unanimously they understood what this meant to the community, and they instructed us to move forward with the pool. So it will be done this summer.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And I wasn't throwing stones at the Grand Tours because everybody's broke.
Yes.
And we, the rest of us will be after April 15th. So stay tuned.
Yes.
What you say is true.
I know that. And so there have to be cuts. That's all there is to it. I mean, we've run on no money and overspending for so many years. We got to kind of pull up here and make some decisions. But you're going to be able to go ahead.
Yes.
And it'll be completed.
It will be completed this summer.
That is such
do you
good
have
news.
an estimated time of completion?
We have weekly meetings, so it estimates sort of differently every week. But this summer, I can say that with utmost honesty and
Would you go so far
Never.
as saying early-ish or late-ish?
Or do you want to hedge
or
your bets and say
middle-ish.
this summer?
Or not?
middle-ish.
Let's
We'll go
shoot
with
for
middle-
July 1.
Middle-ish.
Middle-ish.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
We
Well-
want it done earlier, but
We all
Yeah.
know that in construction, as you get to the end, suddenly 3 weeks comes 5 weeks because there are a lot of things that come up. That's just the way it is in construction. So
absolutely.
Yeah,
And the colder it is, the harder it is to pour concrete, the longer we have to wait to do certain things. So the lack of spring right now is not helping us, but they're still moving forward.
yeah, the workers haven't had a very good winter really to
They
work
haven't.
out there. And,
They haven't.
So that'll
It'll
be.
warm up, though, trust me.
It's coming.
I've been here now for a long time. I know it'll warm up.
It will come.
Describe in general, if you will, please, Dawn, what we will have when the pool is completed.
We have a wading pool, or what people would call a baby pool. It's a zero-depth pool that'll have water features in there. So we'll have some spray things, some things that kids can climb on, a little slide. So active water features are going to be in there. And then we'll have a lap pool, and then we have one slide going in, so that'll end in a plunge pool, where you don't swim, you just fall underwater and you get up and you do it again.
Now, I noted that, when I was out there looking out the window from the exercise room, it looked like we have a rugrat pool
Yes.
for the little folks.
Yes,
That's important.
it absolutely is important.
So it keeps them entirely separate from the other areas.
It is, and it's gated
And it's-
so
and
that
it's-
all the little people can stay in one area with their mom, dad, grandma, whomever's there with them, so they can't accidentally get out into a pool that they shouldn't be playing in.
You talk about being there with your mother or father or grandparent. Do you have policies that dictate the fact that somebody has to watch these kids
Yes.
other than lifeguards?
Other than lifeguards, yes. We do ask that a family member, even an older sibling, a 16, 17-year-old sibling, has to stay with individuals that are 7 and below. So we hope
That's
that
good news.
families...
Speaking of lifeguards, have you filled your staff yet?
I have not, but
Well,
the
good.
jobs are open. Everybody go to the
I'm glad to know
website.
that. I had a water safety instructor's rating years ago. Would that qualify me?
Sure, you got to pass the swim test. You're good with that? You have to save me because I can't swim. So if I jump in and someone can save me, then they can win.
Well, then maybe that gives me a chance because I'd like to be a lifeguard. I never have been one. I don't know
Fabulous.
how to swim.
Okay.
And I'm going to look really funny in a bathing
You
suit.
sit there and blow the whistle, look officious, you know. Well, that's neat. I could be the lifeguard for the kiddies pool.
You get a chair if you're in the kiddie pool.
Don, pool aside, when you first came aboard with Lincoln, and we're happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Was there one particular problem or set of problems that presented themselves to you that needed some attention right away?
Well, the pool's always there.
Yes, right. Yeah,
So
pool
even-
aside, yeah.
Even when I was interviewing, the board showed me the pool, and I said, "Ooh, that's pretty. It's a nice hole in the ground. It's beautiful." In taking in all that I am right now, I've only been there for 3 months, so I'm learning a lot as I go. One of a few things that I noticed is some programming shortages. So the Park District has an amazing fit zone. We have amazing aerobics classes. We have an amazing facility of gym space. But we don't have as many programs. So that's something that I have done in the past. Love doing programs. So I'm going to look to start developing some programs for all ages.
What's your priority list with programs? What are the kinds of things you especially want to bring to Lincoln from your other experiences?
Children's programming, family programming, and senior programming, to kind of make sure we hit all ages that can come and do something fun at the Park District.
Good.
Go ahead, honey.
You mentioned before we came in here, Dawn, that you were also on the state board
Yes.
of Parks and Recreation.
Illinois Parks and Recreation Association. I am.
Okay, now what sorts of things does that board deal with?
That board is made up of all professionals in the field. So IPRA is their initials. They were created to help all professionals in the fields of park and recreation, special recreation, forestry, all people that serve the public. And we work to provide educational sessions, some professional development. So it's all about making the professionals stronger, better, and able to give back to the community. So we work through some budgetary issues, because everybody does that. But then I represent the Central Illinois. So every park district, everybody in rec in Central Illinois, I am the representative on this board. So I get to talk about how great things are in Central Illinois and what amazing things are happening, i.e. the pool at Lincoln, and then I can bring back to them what's going on in Chicago, so there's a chance that we can all network together.
Oh, but that's so neat for us in Lincoln to have that backing through you.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to get all kinds of really hotshot ideas.
Yes, and I'm connected. Each section of the state's broken up into 5 sections. So each section has a representative, and we meet six times a year. And we travel the state, so we don't all just meet in Chicago. We meet everywhere. So in August, the whole state board will be coming to Springfield to meet, and then we actually volunteer at the state fair the next day on Parks Day. So we get to be out there and give out all sorts of fun stuff and talk about what we do, so people learn about the park districts in their hometown, because some people may not know they have a park district, or may not realize all the benefits that a park district can offer them.
And now your first event that's taking place here, or your first up on the agenda, is the health fair.
Yes.
And that's this weekend.
It is.
And if you have any questions, we've all been there, and we'd be happy to help you out.
I appreciate that. I'm learning a lot from Angie and Emily. They're in charge of it this year, so the Park District is very fully supporting them, and they call me, they ask me for certain things, and I make it happen for them. So I'm excited to learn from them.
By the way,
Just
if anybody
great.
would like to join in with questions or comments, 648-5510 would be the number to dial. Dawn, I, of course, have a particular interest in the exercise and the weight rooms and so forth. No, I'm not lifting weights anymore. But the exercise room, has our membership in that remained pretty steady?
Yes, it has. It has. It's definitely...
Well, Lord knows it's cheap enough.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I think we had about 1,100 members at last I checked when I first arrived.
Is that right?
So that's a pretty decent number, but we also have a lot of room to grow. So I'm actually, for all members of the Lincoln Park District that are in our system, they're going to get a membership survey from me in the next few weeks to just say, how are we doing? What could we do better? What could we do more? What would you like to see? And give me input. I'm new. I need to learn. So inviting all 1,100 members to come talk to me.
Well, you could make those 50-pound weights a little lighter.
I could, but then I think Jackie would be mad.
Well, when I'm there, I try to be there. Recently I've kind of slacked off. I've had an episodic system here, but usually you see the same group if you come at the same time.
Absolutely.
And you develop a little camaraderie and
Absolutely.
And pass the time a little fast. But I noticed in your aerobics room, for want of a better term, that's well used. And there's a lot of folks in there hopping and skipping and dancing to the music. And that's certainly inures to their benefit. But it's a nice program.
It is. It's amazing. Jackie and her staff work hard to keep things fresh, because exercise is very important. We understand that sometimes the social part is a little more important, so we make sure you're moving while you're talking, because that's exercise. But Jackie knows, and her staff know, that we need to change things up. So she's doing some research into some new exercise classes that we're going to be bringing on board soon.
There was some wag who once said, if I feel the need to exercise, I just lie down until it goes away.
Well, we don't necessarily have a room for that. Maybe they can sit on one of the spin bikes and just pedal until it goes away.
There you go. There you go.
Pedal lightly.
Now, what you're talking about now are programs for adults mainly, right? With the aerobics and
Actually,
the weight room and
open. It's open to anyone. However, most of our programs are, the aerobic classes are for adults. Although we have started a toddler and me type program.
Which one?
it's called Toddler and Me.
Oh, okay.
So baby and me, mom and me. We have a few classes that we're trying with that. We had our recent class, I want to say last week. We may have started before that, but it's not necessarily the biggest program, but we had families come out and did a little aerobics class, did a little tumbling, and we're going to try a kids spin class to see how that goes. So getting the kids involved in some exercise because them and mom can do it together.
Now, that would be for pretty young children then.
The Toddler and Me class is. The spin class will be for anyone that's can fit on the bike. Because I've looked at those bikes and we can adjust the pedals, but only to a certain degree.
There have been some great kids programs, though. Now, I suppose that the basketball would be winding down now.
Yes, the Junior Railers is over.
And winding up for baseball.
Absolutely.
And that's a
registration
big program.
Yes, our registration started for our baseball and softball leagues for the boys and girls, and our T-ball registration starts on Friday for anyone from 4 to 6 who hasn't played ball but wants to start, so we've got a T-ball league for them.
And that's great. That encompasses many, many children.
Absolutely.
You're so new, and I doubt if you've had time to really go through all the records to see the usage and so forth, but I was just wondering off the cuff here if the driving range is a successful thing for us. It's a real handy thing for the community, and there again, the cost is minimal.
Absolutely, and funny you asked that because I was just talking to my staff about that, the usage and things, because I've gotten a few stickies that we need to go buy some golf balls. I'm like, well, do we really need golf balls, or we just want me to go shopping for golf balls, which I can go shopping. I have no problem shopping. But I said, what legitimately do we use it for? Is it actually used, or is it just a bunch of kids who are buying the balls and just chucking them out there, things like that? And the staff all said, nope, it is very well used. I'm like, I will go buy golf balls for you then.
You bet.
So
you bet.
It is very well used, and we plan to keep that.
Well, that's the kind of attitude you're going to have to take, though, to every program, I'm sure.
Yes.
What's the utilization? It doesn't warrant existence if you got 3 people doing it.
Absolutely. And looking at it financially, the golf range, I buy a bunch of balls and people give me $2. They get a bucket of balls, and then I got to pay someone to go get those balls to bring them back in.
Yeah, that's right.
So there's a few things I'm like, I didn't think about that. I played golf once and it was funny, so I've said that was enough.
That took care of that.
Yeah, I got a nice set of golf balls and golf set if anybody wants them. They are pink. I will say I'm a pink woman.
As you know, when you came to our community, you found out early on that this is pretty much of a basketball town.
I did.
And part of the reason for that is our youth basketball program at the Recreation Association.
Absolutely.
Is such a good feeder program. We've all, parents and grandparents, have been through that, where the little Rugrats come out there and the ball is almost bigger than they are.
Yep.
And that's where they start. And first thing you know, we developed 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 real good ball players. So it's a great thing. And by the way, speaking of that, your daughter Cass's employer, Eaton Industries, on the football side, they've been very generous to the community, and they have donated that ground out there along Lincoln Parkway, just immediately south of the facilities. And that has been a feeder program. And ultimately, I hope that will take like a vaccination it'll take. And so we'll have the same results in our football program that we've enjoyed down through the years with basketball.
Amazing, the things you know and the things I come to find out. It's very exciting. I met with a community member about a football program. I'm an athlete. I have been an athlete all my life. I never played basketball, but for once because I was the tallest girl, so they put me there. Didn't really have a choice, but didn't like it after that. To do a football type camp at the rec, because obviously I have a lot of green space and I have a big gym in case it rains. So myself and the community member are working to see if we can do a football camp. If not this summer, maybe something that we could start next summer. So bringing more athletics to those individuals that need to start somewhere.
Those are feeder programs. We have a feeder program here. It's called sponsorship.
Yes, I love sponsorship.
Yes, you
I bet you get a letter from me in a week.
So at this point in time, if Mr. Ash is busy with his instrumentation there, we'll take a few seconds for some commercials. And you're right back live in the opulent studios of WLCN. 96.3. And our program this morning is Viewpoint. My co-host always is Judith K. Busby. By the way, did you have a good time at the Betty Ford?
Yeah, it was real nice, and I met some really swell people out there. People are going to believe this. You talk about anything long enough, everybody will believe it.
The word will be on the street soon.
It'll make it there before I make it back to Lincoln. And I drive fast.
I don't think Judy or I could do this program with any other co-host.
One thing they used to have out there that was a big thing. I remember when my kids were little, Mary Barr, you'll remember.
Oh my God, David and Mary, yes.
Taught a painting class for little kids. I still have a plate that since painted a lion on it. Says, "I love you, Mom." I don't get why a lion would be on there.
And you used to have a ceramics program out there.
That was big guns.
Yes, the kiln is no longer there.
Oh, and that's a pricey item, I'll bet you.
That is a ginormously pricey item.
I bet you.
It is. So,
And you have to get somebody who can teach these things, too.
and knows how to run the kiln. I know how to turn it on, but after that,
Well, Scotty Hinman was quite talented in that, and I think she was a big part of that program.
Yeah, she was.
Have you uncovered a major challenge to you, Mrs. Schaefer? Recreation-wise, that is.
Like the drive from Champaign's a major challenge right now, but I'm working on that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a heck of a drive.
It is. It's not fun. It's not fun, but I have an amazing real estate agent who has found me a beautiful home, so we're hoping that I get to sign on the dotted line very soon.
Good for you. Good for you.
I'm excited.
You should be.
I can't wait
Gas
to.
keeps going up.
Yeah,
I'm sure that makes you even happier.
It does, although every time I call my mother in Chicago and I tell her how much I paid for gas, she wants to hit me. So I'm like, what did you pay? She's at $3. I'm like, it was like under $2 here. She's keeps telling me she's moving down here. I'm like, it's okay. You stay home. Love you.
Enjoy
you stay
the big
home.
city. Huh?
Yeah.
What kind of art programs do you have out there for people, or will you have? Or what ideas have you heard you might like to incorporate into the program?
I would like to get some more art programs in. I've had a few members that were part of the old ceramics classes and painting classes, and they said that would be great to bring back. I said, that fabulous. This is what I need to know, is what do people want to see out there, because I can read a book, which is our old program book that was put out last summer, and it has a lot of programs listed, but then as I do my research, I find out what went and what didn't go.
Right.
But again, what programs were listed in the book, I ask, well, who created those? Did a member say, I would love to have that program? And they're like, well, we just, some members did, some members we just thought this would be beneficial to them. I said, okay, and that's how recreation is. It's my job to stay on top of trends, to say Zumba is the most exciting thing, which it is, or was the most exciting thing, so we had Zumba class every day. That's kind of fallen to the wayside, and that's where Jackie's like, well, we've got this new great drumming kind of class. I'm like, oh, okay, sounds great.
Drumming?
Drumming, an aerobic drumming
As in
class.
a drum?
As in you beat the floor, which we're going to fix that. We're not going to beat a floor, because we just got a new floor in the aerobic room, so we're very protective of that floor.
Well, yeah.
But that's my job, is to see not only what's new and upcoming, but what do the members want, because I know what I want to do, but that not be what half the members want to do, so I love input.
That's how it has to be run, isn't it?
It is.
You said before we came in here something that I thought was really interesting about your state board that you serve on as the representative from Central Illinois.
Yes.
And you said it was a 30-member board, and now it's 5?
It's 8 now.
8.
Wow.
Yes. It was as affectionately called, enormous board.
Yes.
I was actually part of the governance committee that said, how do you get that many people to talk about one thing and then agree upon it for the whole professional group of people in Illinois? So as my role in the governance board, we kind of started crossing people off. We're like, well, what do you do? And that's what we do. We ask, what do you do? And what do you do for the board? What do you do professionals? And if you couldn't answer it, we said, thank you. And we said, and that position can go away for a while.
Historically, every once in a while, somebody is on a board because they like to see their name on the list. They don't attend or contribute. But when you kind of winnow the board down to fewer numbers,
Yes.
Accountability,
Absolutely.
it seems to be easier.
Absolutely. And on our state board, our first meeting was, we're all sworn in January at the state conference that's held up in Chicago. So for a week we're in, I'm in there for a week, it's usually a weekend, up in Chicago at one of the large hotels, because there's usually about 3,000 people that come to this conference to learn about trends in recreation, find the new and exciting things to buy from people providing recreational toys. So this is where I buy a lot of golf balls. I get a great deal. It works out great. So we get sworn in there as a board, and then we have our first meeting, usually February, March. This year it was March, and it's a retreat. So that any new board member, we kind of get that warm, fuzzy, hey, who are you and where are you coming from? And the first thing that they always ask us is, why are you on the board? Why did you run for the board, and why do you think you were chosen? So we all have to answer that, and unanimously for the whole board, everybody said it's because I want to give back to a profession that has created me. So I've had mentors in the parks and recreation field that have created who I am today as a professional and as a person, and I want to be able to do that for the young people that are coming up in the field. Because eventually I want to retire. I'm just saying.
Whoa, that's way down.
It is. It's very way down the line.
I do recommend it, though.
Oh yeah, well, yes.
I
As a
found-
new
I hear it's
retiree.
great.
I just retired myself in August.
Wonderful.
And I like it.
And her yard likes it. She just works. Boards. How many do we have on our local board here?
On the Park District Board,
Yes,
there are, I have to count chairs.
Yeah.
3, 4,
Oh,
5. There are 5.
5, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you came to be with us, did you find that the board is okay? Excuse me, please. The physical facilities are in good shape, and it's not a major item for the board to worry about?
There are things that are items that
And unfortunately, every one of them is costly.
they are very costly. Who knew that we needed air conditioning?
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
So there are some big things that the board is aware of via either issues that they know of from the past or things that I'm bringing forward to say, hey, I noticed this, and we got to kind of put this on our radar. But I'm also
that's buildings, whether it's your home or your garage or the rec, which is a big place. you
And
know.
each area of the rec is a different age, so we have different problems in the front than we do in the back. And then, of course, there's the pool, which is connected to the rec, so that counts.
Well, we're extremely lucky to have this facility here
Absolutely.
in our community. There's so much going on out there and covering a pretty good age range.
Yes.
And that's really important.
Yes, very much.
Just the fact that people go out there and walk around that big gym in this kind of weather
Yep.
to get their exercise indoors and comfortably. And there are a lot of people who take advantage of that, and more should.
Absolutely. The building's open. For a senior, I think it costs you $1 to walk as long as you want. And bring as many friends as you want and just have a little conversation while you're walking, because that's a little more exercise.
Oh,
which
and
is
it's
good.
more fun. Anything that you do with somebody
Absolutely.
else is more fun. Otherwise, you have to talk to yourself, and boy, I tell you, they really look at you funny.
You can sing to yourself. We have music playing, so if you want to sing and dance while you're walking, hey,
No,
even more.
I've been told about my singing. I don't do that.
I could say this thing about your
this
dancing.
is the most obese county of the 102.
I have heard that very much.
Yes, so
Think of that now.
I know that's very
I
scary.
thank you for the donuts this morning.
That's sobering.
Yeah, right. I know we're helping the cause. Surely you'd want to play off that and do
Yes.
things. I sure am not very svelte. And apparently
Oh, I
most
remember
of
when
us,
she was.
yeah, maybe 50 years ago. But a lot of us aren't. A lot of us are sick about it, but not sick enough about it to do anything about it. In what ways can you offer something to us that we'll want to do, that we should do, and we know we should do, but we don't?
One of the things that I know Jackie and I have worked on is offering a lot of freebies for people who are not members to come in and try it out for a week. Just come try it out for a week, because within 1 week, you have access to the gym where you can go walking with your friends.
Yep.
You can play basketball if you're so inclined. We have a volleyball net, tennis, pickleball. You can do some classes. There's classes for all ages. We have some classes specifically for those 50 and above. That's actually one of our biggest classes, is the 50 and above class. And we just had a potluck that was amazing. So we exercise and then we eat.
Everybody participated in?
They're all welcome to. I think there was probably 30 people that were at the potluck.
It was a heck of a potluck.
It was an amazing potluck. I ate for hours and enjoyed the afternoon looking out my window because I couldn't move. I was so happy. So we do that. We understand that sometimes it takes a little nudge to get you moving. We also invite people to bring their friends for a week to come and check it out for free. Bring a friend for free. Let them see what you do. So to get more people involved, come out, try some things, and you'll find something you like. You might have to try a few things. You might have to sweat a little. It's okay. We have towels.
Then we'll glow, right?
You will glow. You will glisten with happiness.
And that would be good. And part of the support of the Park District is our tax money.
Correct.
So really, you do have a titch of ownership in that.
Vested interest,
Yes.
so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so it would behoove you to check it out.
You would. Come
Either
out.
with and for your kids or with and for yourself.
And with the pool coming, obviously that's huge for families and individuals alike. We're working on some aerobic classes. They're aqua aerobic classes. That'll be easier on your joints if that's a concern. I can't say I'm going to warm the pool water because that would take a whole lot more heaters.
Oh, gosh, yes.
And I think Vern might be mad at me if I say that, so sorry, Vern.
Well, I tell you what, the pool will warm.
It will.
When it gets to be 102 in the shade around here, you want to believe that water's not going to be exempt from a warm-up.
Yeah, it might get a little toasty.
I think so.
That's the only time I'm going in is when it's warm. I give up that cold weather business.
Well, I thought you were going to go the first down the slide.
The
We're right by that.
Yeah. I tried. 'Cause I'm not gonna
there'll
do
be
it.
a day.
Oh, Bill.
Your summer programs, Dawn. Let's address those for just a moment. What do you have on the docket planned so far? As a matter of special programs.
Well, our baseball, softball, t-ball are coming back. The women's softball league is coming back. I know that's a huge thing.
Oh, that is such fun for those. I've gone out to watch.
They need cheerleaders. It's
Not
good.
participate.
We all need cheerleaders when we're playing sports.
Well, I happen to know that there is one lady who plays in that league who is even older than I am. Jim, I know that's hard for you to imagine, but force yourself, okay?
Hey, more power
It's
to
great.
it. Yes.
It's just great. They have more fun than Carter's Got Pills.
Who's Carter?
Well, the thing of it is, they're getting involved. They're doing something. They're not sedentary all the time.
Correct.
And I have noticed here during this winter that I became a lot more sedentary than I ought to be. And we're going to solve that when the weather gets nicer. But if we sit around and read the whole winter away, and let that habit continue on, we're going to join the obeser people.
Well, your
or more
brains get
obese.
larger, but so does some other
Yeah.
parts.
So there you go.
Well, it's not so much the weight thing. It's an attitude of mind and trying to keep in the game.
Keep active. Absolutely. And I think that's something that I would also like to focus on. In my past, I oversaw some of the senior programs, so 50 and above. I don't know if I like the word senior, but I can fix that. Where it was
It's just darn near middle age.
where
got
yes,
kids
exercise
over.
is very important, but even getting out of the house when it's cold and you have nothing else to do, just a place to come and hang out. So maybe hosting a potluck once a month where the whole community can come out. Bring a dish, we'll all come, we'll all share, we'll have a good time.
Well, and
card
getting back-
games, things like that. So just
Getting
active
back
things.
to obesity, even a card game isn't probably very taxing for you.
I've seen some bridge games that get a little crazy.
Well, some of those bridge players,
Bunko, I've seen Bunko. You got to move and ring a bell, and oh Lord have mercy.
But just to have an interest and to get out there and to do something rather than watching soap operas is just good for you.
Absolutely keeps your mind going and keeps your mind young, which is what's important.
Yeah, it's just a great thing, and the rec is a great place to focus on it, and we have to not omit the great oasis that
Absolutely.
we have here. I mean, that is a thing that is just the be-all, end-all as well. So I think for a community our size, and I'm talking about our county,
Yes.
We are darn fortunate to have what we have to entertain us, if you will.
Yeah, well, it does that. Now, speak of jurisdictions. Tell us the physical. Are we county?
No, the Lincoln Park District is, you either are considered in district or out of district. If you're in district, that means you pay taxes to the Lincoln Park District. So on your tax bill, it'll say the Lincoln Park District.
Sure.
Right.
If you get a tax bill and it doesn't say that, then you are considered out of district.
However, if you live out by Memorial Park, is it like the library? You can pay an extra bump and be a member, or do you have to be
I'm hoping to move towards that.
Are you?
Yes.
Because I think that might work.
Right now there's a resident and a non-resident fee, but knowing that, also looking at the income of the area, when wanting to serve more people that maybe don't have millions of dollars sitting in their pocketbook, there's got to be a way that we can do that. So I'm also looking, the Park District right now has a scholarship program for the youth, for programs, not for membership, but for programs. And it's not a big number, so I definitely need to do a little bit more raising. As I develop kids programs, I need to make sure I have the scholarships for the families that maybe need that support.
And for whom are the scholarships set up?
They're for youth. They're for youth and programs.
Yes, but are they based on income, or are they
Yes.
based on
Income.
Desire or
They actually,
ability?
there's a form that they have to complete that asks some very specific questions about income, budget, and things like that. So it is not a willy-nilly process. It is not up to me. It is up to the numbers, and then I award what I can.
Yeah. That's how life works.
It is.
The Oasis has a computer program. Do you see a possibility for a need for a computer program at our Lincoln Recreational Association?
A computer class type program? Oh. Well, I'm working to upgrade our computer, so not right now. But I've actually reached out to Dom at the Oasis just to meet him. I haven't met him yet.
Neat man.
you must,
I've met
yeah.
a lot of people, and I apologize for all those lovely people who I forget your name, but I'm going to smile at you every time. Every time. To reach out to him and say, hey, what we are serving the same people sometimes. What can we do together? And so he and I are going to schedule a meeting to see what we can do together so that we can get more
guy.
people involved.
Neat guy. Hard-working man.
Yeah, he said it's tax season. I said, I gotcha. We'll call you in a month.
As we bring Viewpoint to a close, Don, do you have any comments or suggestions that you would like to leave with our listening audience about our great park district out there at the end of Wyatt Avenue?
I would love to invite everybody to come out and check it out, learn what we're about, and give me suggestions. I'm new. I come from the big city of Chicago through Champaign, so I'm in the big city of Lincoln now, and I want to know what people want, because the Park District is about the community, and if the community can tell me what they want, I can't do everything, so the trip to Paris is probably not going to happen, but...
Oh.
Darn.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was
Your
kinda
taxes
disappointed
would go up
about that.
exponentially to cover that.
I think so. I think so.
Chicago to Lincoln, that had to be a great culture shock.
It
All
was
right.
interesting.
Our
but
guest
I
this
loved
morning
it.
has been Dawn Schaefer. She's our director of the entire program out there at Lincoln Park District at the end of Wyatt Avenue. She'd like to see you out there. She'd like to show you what all we offer here in this community, and it really is very significant. So, Don, we thank you very much for being with us this morning.
Well, thank you
and
for
we'll
inviting
do
me.
a return visit here as the summer moves along, kind of get a
Fabulous.
little update on what's going on.
I will bring you an update as soon as I have one.
Good deal.
We always like to close Viewpoint with a quote that I've found somewhere. I've added 2 words to this, and the 2 words is "and bodies." And the quote is that old minds and bodies are like an old horse. they need to be exercised if they want to be kept in the working order. Something to be said for
Amen.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you for Viewpoint.